Hi, and welcome to my kitchen. I'm so glad you're here. I would like to say thank you to Rabbi Yosef Yitzchak Jacobson, from who I pilfered this concept. He does it much better, but I will try. I loved it. We talked last time about the selling of Yosef. We talked about the inyan in the machzor, that we bring that to Hashem, that these are our tzaddikim and they died al Kiddush Hashem, and we want them on our scale. I'd like to continue, not from Aseret Sirugei Malchus, that we will do when we get there in the scope of the period of that time. I am now continuing from the selling of Yosef. Yosef is sold. As you know, he goes down to Mitzrayim. He goes to the home of Potiphar. He is accused. He is the only one called Tzaddik in the Torah, because Yosef went through a lot of difficult periods, and he saw his father's face, and he held on and didn't move. And he was so strong. And the Torah tells us in Perek Mem, in Breshis, it says, Chotu mashke melech Mitzrayim ve'efol adoneim. The butler and the baker, one found a piece of wood, I think Rashi says, and another one a fly in the wine, and they're thrown into jail. Vayichomu cholem shneim, and they each dream a dream, b'layla echad, on the same night. Vayar henisistem v'hinei zeyafim. And they look sad, and they look upset, and they look. So he says to them, Madua pneichem roim hayem. Why don't you look good today? As Rabbi Jacobson says it in his most incredible manner. How should they look? They're in a pit. They're in a deep pit. And I would imagine the choshim ba'akrabim yeshbe, a real deep pit. Animals, horrible, crawling things. This is no walk in the park, and this is no pizza parlor, and they're not giving them sushi. And he says to them, why do you look? What's the matter? Tell me what's the matter. And he looks in their direction, and we know that Yosef is a kind and gentle human being. And he looks in their direction, and he's nice to them. And they tell him. And because of that conversation, because of that small conversation, and because he tells them the dream, when Pare has a dream, only one of them is there, the other one's hanging. He hung around. He remembers Yosef. He doesn't really remember. He calls him Nar, Eved, Ivri. He puts him down because he wants to be his, yeah? But because of that, Yosef becomes Mishneh Lamelech and saves the world from hunger. Why? Because Yosef was nice to someone. The Rebbe says that every second in our life, we have the opportunity to do something good. We have the opportunity, we have a choice. We have the opportunity to change something to the better, either for ourselves or for someone else. So often I talk to people and they say, I don't really have a choice. Not true. We always have a choice to be nice to someone. When you see somebody upset, maybe you can't help them, but maybe you can do something small. Invite them for a Shabbos meal. Maybe they can just use a smile. My friend Nechama once told a student in 6th grade, I think, that she's doing great and that she hopes she will see beautiful things from her one day. That student told her when she was in her 30s, Mora Heber, I still remember what you said. I still remember that you had hope for me. You had big plans for me. You believed in me. From what? From one little sentence. From one sentence. Yosef becomes Mishnah Lamelech because he walks over to two people who have a right, Pneichem Roim, they have a right to have Pneichem Roim, to have bad face that day. But Yosef said to them, tell me what's wrong. And they did. And that changed history. We can do the same. And you know who it's the hardest to do that with? Are you ready? Our own people. Our own children sometimes. Our own husband. Our own close people. Sometimes it's easy to be nice to a strange person more than it is to be nice to ourselves, to our own. So what I want to leave you with. Bayit Sheni was destroyed because of Sinas Chinam. Why don't we practice some real Avas Chinam and learn from Yosef? Chumash Bereishis ends with Yosef's death. Chumash Bereishis is 2,309 years. We will talk about that in the next segment. Thank you for being here. Bevirchas Mashiach now. Seid gesund.